welcome back to another episode of the Can We Knit podcast. I think this is episode number 79. And today it is Thursday. I'm filming a day in advance. I'm trying to be very good with my planning these days. So today it is Thursday, the 1st of February. And I just love that fresh month feel. That, I don't know what it is with fresh starts, like Monday is the first day of the month and the first day of the year. This is something about that just feels really nice. And today we've had so much bad weather. Yesterday was like a storm and raining and really, really bad. There's still some wind outside, but we have the sun. So for a day in winter time in Denmark, this is pretty good. So welcome to the channel. My name is Camilla. I am a knitwear designer and a hand dyer. I live here in Denmark with my family, my husband, and our two daughters. They are 17 and 20, so they are almost adult. Well, one of them is at least. I don't know if it feels like having adult children. It's like, yes, they are on paper adult, but they still have a lot of young women issues. So having them here for as long as possible is just a bliss for me. Well, I will talk a little bit about whatever is going on around the house at the end of the episode. Let's get to knitting first. I have not had very much time to knit the last 2 weeks, and on top of that, I just haven't been really inspired. I think for me at least, that feeling of being in love with your knitting project is so motivating. And I have only had 2 pairs of socks on my needle and a hat foulard that I still don't know if it's too small, and some blankets with all my minis from Vlogmas. So I haven't had anything really exciting to knit on. And for me that is always, then when I'm knitting, I'll check my phone and then I'll knit a few rounds and then I'll check my phone and then I'll knit a few rounds and watch TV and just not be inspired. Compared to when I have a project that I'm really in love with, I will knit first and forget everything else. I'll forget to watch whatever is on TV and I will not be checking my phone. And if it's really, really good, I will be in here on my little red chair. Not little red, it's a huge chair. And I will just be, in flow and happy and knitting. So I have had an urge to design something and do something new, and I said to Esther, you had a lot of ideas that was never actually made into a project. So let me look at some of those drawings again and let's see if there's something there that's good. And we worked on something. So I did a little swatch and I'll show you that later. Just to let you know, I have my knitting mojo back. And I really have been wanting to design something new, but it's just that dyeing yarn just kind of gets in the way all the time. Every time I go to work at the studio, I just start to dye yarn. So I need to be better at kind of carving out days to be focusing on designing something and give myself that space to be able to do that, and the time and the peace and quiet to actually sit down and design something and not feel that I'm not working my ass off because that's what it feels like. When I'm designing, it feels like I'm not really working. Actually, it feels like I'm skipping, because dyeing yarn, there's always yarn to dye and I've run out of stock all the time. So it's a balance. Well, anyway, I finished something. I showed you one sock the last time and I'm glad that I decided that didn't count as a finished object when you only finish one sock. So I have finished both socks and I have knit my Sandpiper. It's confusing. I have a sock pattern called Sandpiper and I have a color called Sand Viper. I even have a design called Sand Castle, so I should stop with the sand for now. But anyway, this is in my winter landscape colorway that I did in December. inspired by a photo sent to me by a viewer, and this is what they look like. I love the color. It's like a white background, and then they have these speckles of light blue and mustard and a little brick and gray. And actually, usually when I do socks that has speckles like this, I would just prefer to knit stockinette, so you can actually see, like you can tell here on the bottom of the foot where it's all stockinette, that the colors kind of stand out a little bit more. But I just needed to do something different. I was just and doing this little pattern here on every fourth and fifth row just gives me exactly enough. It just adds to the feeling of doing something different every now and then, just like stripes. So Sandpiper socks in winter landscape in my merino sock base. I have also dyed this in my new camijo sock yak base, which has 15% yak as well, which makes the base really interesting, I think. So don't kick the camera. So this is my only finished object. Next thing I can share with you, I have shared before, because I need to share things more than once, because I don't have enough content if I do. This is yarn. This is a yarn that I dyed last year, and you can tell it's like a moody pastel, lots of different shades. I posted a picture of this on Instagram, and I even posted a little reel of me dyeing this yarn. I really like it. You can see here what it looks like when I'm knitting socks, and I was really pleased with the result, but at the same time I kind of wanted the colors to stand out a little bit more. I thought they maybe just blended a little too much into each other. There was not like a, you couldn't tell the mint from the pink, from the green, from the purple. So I have actually, with the exact same amount of dye, done another version of this called Sweet Swirl. They are in the shop, and the colors stand out way more. So you can tell the colors apart, and the speckling is more visible, or more, it stands out way more than on this. But now the problem is I don't know which one I prefer. So I think I will bring you to the studio with me, because I have a ton of stuff to show you at the studio today. So once I'm done talking a little bit about whatever's going on my needles, I will take you with me to the studio, and we can compare these two, and you can tell me which one you prefer, because I just can't decide. I thought I would prefer the new one, but now I'm having doubts. I really love how subtle the pastels are in this, and kind of like a moody, lacy pastel look. So yeah, I really like this. So I think we will do a vote. The old, let's just call them Sweet Swirl. So you need to vote later for the old one or the new one that I will show you. I have a skein at the studio, so I can compare the two, and you can help me decide which one you like the best. Today I have spent some time going through boxes of leftover yarns. I bet you know what that feels like. I have so many small leftovers of both fingering and mega mohair and DK weight and lace weight, and some I have dyed myself, and some come from other dyes from before I started to dye yarn. Some is conventional yarn, some is yarn that is gifted to me from companies back in the days, and they would offer me yarn and I could design something. So I have so much yarn laying around, and sometimes I'll just put them in a box, and I will have all different kinds of yarn in the same box, and it's just a mess. So actually today I spent some time kind of tidying up all these mini ones, and you can see that little basket up here. I have all my leftover hand-dyed sock yarn. And some of them I use in blankets and others I will do for like scrappy socks and stuff, but it just felt so good to have all my own hand-dyed minis up here. And then I did a box with DK weight, and I did a box with the silk mohair, and I did another box with just red, kind of in between yarns that didn't fit anywhere. So that felt really, really good. So now I have extra space. And since I moved into the studio in November, this office is just getting more and more tidy every day. So it felt good to do a little bit more of that. And when you tidy up, you find stuff. And for a long, long, long time, I have a teenager outside my window. Bye, honey. A long time ago, I don't even remember when I bought this yarn. I think maybe I bought this at the Fanø Knitting Festival in September. There's a Danish dyer called the Lonely Sock Lady, and she does self-striping yarn, and I love that. But I started with a very short ribbing. I usually do like 20 rows. I think maybe I did 10 or 15 here. But anyway, I knit some, and then I lost the gray one. And then I just lost my motivation, because if I can't do the other one exactly like this one with a toe as well in this dark gray, I just wasn't motivated. And of course I could just dye one, but what's the fun in that when I knew I had one? And today I found that mini. Yay! So I put this back on my needles, and now I can finish these cute socks. It is only a 50-gram skein, but that will be enough for some short socks. And I love the colors that Lone made in this. So so that felt good. I can put this in a little bag and continue to knit on these self-striping socks at some point. So 2 pairs of socks on my needles, and the hat for Lars. I can show you that one again. Maybe I did some progress since the last time, but because it's a 2x2 rib, it's really stretchy. And I have a big head as well, so I bet it's fine. It'll fit him fine. And he wants it to be like with a brim. And of course the needles are too tight, so that it won't allow me to do that. But I'm hoping that it'll be okay once I finish it. But do you know that feeling when you're not really sure if the thing you're knitting on is too big or too small, or it's just something about it is just not perfect, then I lose all motivation. And I should actually just finish this, and if it's too small, then someone else can have it and wear it. Yeah, I really should just get that done with. I'm knitting in my Messiah base, which is a newer base with silk and yak and merino, and it is a single ply yarn, and it is super soft. I just dyed 2 new colors the other day, so I'll show you today the whole range of colors that I have so far, and maybe you can help me out and decide on some new colors. I also dyed a new color in my organic wool. I had almost completely sold out of the dark aubergine and the mint colorway. No, not the mint. I always call it mint. It's the sage. And I dyed some new one, and then I dyed a pink one. So I'll show you that when we go to the studio very soon. So this is what is on my needles, and I really don't love any of them. I love to knit socks. It's not like that. I really like this one because it's in my new sock yak base, and I love this base. It's not a shiny yarn, so when you look at it, the colors don't pop the same way that colors will do on a on a 2-ply yarn or on something that has silk in it. But because it's 4-ply, which means that it is, if you untwist the yarn, you will see that there are 4, it is so hard to see, but there are 4 strands of yarn. And that does something to the hue and to the shine of the yarn. So when you compare this to a 2-ply yarn, you can tell that the colors will pop out a little bit more on the 2-ply yarn and even better on the single-ply yarn. So I can show you then. We can talk a little bit about colors on different bases when we get to the studio. I love to knit on this because I'm so happy about this new base. I love that it's not so smooth that it kind of just falls off the needles really easy. It's not, I think the base will also be just perfect for garments because it has this, there's just it's hard to explain textures, especially when you don't speak English as your first language. But it has a little, it's a tiny bit more rustic without it not being soft, because it's really, really soft because it's merino and yak, so it is soft. But there's just a different texture. It's not as slippery as a pure merino is. So I really like this way better. I really, really like this base. Anyway, this is a little swatch for an upcoming design. And this is my mega mohair, and it is actually just the color peach because I had a little skein left over from my own mega diamond cardigan that I knit in this color. And this is the swatch, and that's all I'm gonna say for now. But this is a garment that'll be so cute for the summer and very cool in the winter. I love to do projects that are just all year round perfect. And if you want to do a summer version of this, you just choose some light summery colors. And if you want to use it in the winter, you can do a more moody dark green. I am thinking about dyeing my mega mohair in my hunter colorway, which is this deep dark dusty green that I really, really, really like. And yeah, I don't want to say any more about this design because I really want to get to work on that, and I can show you a little bit more once I have a little bit more to show and not just a little swatch. I think I have made a list. I always make a list and then I forget all about the list. The Valentine boxes have been out for, I don't know, maybe a week or so by now. I have shipped the first boxes this morning, and I think I have around 8 or 9 boxes left. So if you want to make sure to grab one of those Valentine boxes, you should go do that now before they are gone, and I'm not going to make more. So there is 6 mini skeins in my old sock base, which is 75% merino and 25% nylon, so they're perfect for socks. And there's a little special edition Valentine stitch marker set from So Sheldon, my partner in crime at the studio. Also, the mushroom pre-orders are open now. They open today at 12, so by the time you watch this, it is Friday and the next day. So they are open, so you can go check those out. And I will dye those next week, so they will probably won't ship until the end of next week or the Monday, would that be the 12th of February? I think so. And that means by the time I send them, it will be winter break here in Denmark. And that means that I'm going to my summer house with my friend Mette and both of the girls. So we're going to have 4 days at the summer house to just knit. So I'll be working on my new design there, and I'll have a fire going at the fireplace and long, nice walks on the beach with the girls and Teddy. So that is the best type of vacation I could ever want to go on. My friend Nancy from the podcast Knit Sip Happy, she just published I was looking for a word there. She just published a beautiful sock pattern in a DK sock weight yarn. She actually used my yarn for her design. Thank you, Nancy. I sent her a box of different yarns, and I think she just thought it would be fun to do something in the DK weight. So she picked out my DK sock in the color Njord, which is the Norse god of the sea. And Njord has been one of my regular colors. I have been dyeing that color since the beginning of the podcast. Not the podcast, the beginning since I started to dye yarn. That was one of the first blue ones that I did and I was really happy with. So I'm happy that Nancy wanted to work in my yarn. She did a beautiful, beautiful pattern, and she wants to donate 2 patterns. So 2 can win this new pattern for the socks. I'll put a picture here. I guess it's the best place to put a picture of her socks. So if you want to win a pattern to Nancy's new sock pattern, if you want to win one of those patterns, I don't know why it's so hard to say something so easy. Let me know down below. You can comment on anything. If you want to win the pattern, just say, yes, I would like to win the pattern. And you can still comment below without entering the giveaway. And yeah, then later today I am having my first knit group visit my studio. I have some really, really good friends, and his mom is a knitter and she has a little knit group, and she asked me, can we come and see the studio? And I said, yes, of course. So she's bringing 10 ladies, and I'm going to show them around the studio today, and they're going to have coffee and cake and sit and enjoy themselves and knit for a little bit. So I'm very excited to have my first knit group visit my studio. That's so much fun. That's what it's all about. Gathering knitters to hang out and talk about knitting and dyeing yarn. I think I'll show them how I dye the yarn, and whatever they want to know, I can tell a little bit about the company and my journey and so forth. So that is one of the best things about moving out of my house, is that I can now host events. And on tomorrow afternoon between 12 and 4, the studio will be open, so people can come and look at my yarn, and they can look at Tina's bags and leatherwork, and they can buy some stuff and hang out. And the same on Saturday from 9 to 12 we will have open again, so people can come. So I wish that all of you people that are watching from all over the world could come and say hello and have knit group with me. Wouldn't that just be the best? But if you are somewhat local or close by, just know that from now on we will have opening days at the studio, and you can always go to the website and see when is opening hours for the particular month, because it can vary. Sometimes private life will get in the way and I will not be available for that weekend. So you can go and see on the website when we have open in the studio. And also next week we are hosting our first knitting event. We have sold 20 tickets, actually a little bit more than 20 tickets for knit night. So people bought tickets, and we make coffee and whatever, and people can just come and hang out and sit and knit. And I think in the future we will come up with more different types of knitting events. So it's not only sit and knit, it could also be someone who will tell a story about something, or educate, or do some kind of themed evening. And I'm just so happy that Tina and I have this place and the space to do some really fun things for women. It's mostly women. I haven't had any guy buy tickets to the knitting event. So if there's any knitting guys out there, know you're very welcome. Yeah, I think that's it from here. Now I'll take you with me to the studio and show some of the new colors that I dyed, and also we need to compare those 2 Sweet Swirls yarns and see which color you like the best. I hope you like this angle today. I don't always try to, because usually I'll just sit in front of my window and have the camera point that direction, and you can see the purple wall that I have back here. Today I just felt like doing something else, so it's not the same background that you see every day. I hope the light was okay and the sound. I have a microphone hanging here, and I'm trying the best I can to improve the podcast so that lighting and sound will be as good as possible. So if you have any feedback on that, please let me know. Lars has just bought me some new equipment for the studio. So hopefully we can improve on some of those technical things in the future. It's always a balance because this is my private office and I want it to be really cozy and not filled with gadgets and lights and stuff. It's not a studio. This is my safe place. So we're trying to make it easy for me to just kind of add light and yada yada, so we can make the quality of the podcast as good as possible. So let me know if you have any comments on that. Anything you think needs improvement, sound, light, whatever, let me know. Yeah, that's it for now. Let's go to the studio and look at some new colors and new bases maybe. So I'm at the studio and in 30 minutes time I will be having the knit group here at the place. That's very exciting. I have just put some cookies out. I'm gonna make some coffee and I just have a little time to chat with you. So let's start with the yarn that I showed you at home, the Campbell Sock Yak base in that colorway that I had in 2 versions. This is the old version. So this is the Sweet Swirl edition 1. And this is the version that I was knitting socks in this color. So let me know if you prefer this color or this color. You can tell this one, the colors are more separated and I added a little bit more of a dark speckle. I have another one of the new one here just to give you kind of a, maybe it's easier to compare these two. So I guess it's just a matter of if you prefer to have a more solid kind of look or if you enjoy the speckles. But I don't think I have room for both of these versions in the shop. So for now, I'm gonna keep calling this one Sweet Swirl. And then if we prefer this version, I think I'll just call that Sweet Swirl as well. Since it is exactly the same amount of dye, it is just the technique of how I apply the colors to the yarn that differ. So this looks like it's more of the same color and this looks more variegated. So let me know if you prefer the old one or the new one. Next, I have showed you my Messiah base before and I'm just so in love with this and I will try to not talk about it all the time, but I just wanted to show you, these are some of the old colors. You can watch the latest episode, episode 78, if you want to see the colors that I have made so far. I just want to show you the 2 new colors that I just did. This is my hazel colorway. I have that in multiple bases, but because this base before I dyed is very dark, it is so windy outside, it's crazy. But because the base is darker than white yarn, the brown hazel gets even darker. So it is just the most beautiful brown. And the same with this, I ran out of one color of green that I use when I do my color called Sugar Pine. And I ran out of that color and I just tried to do it with another green and I actually love the result on this, on the yak, the Messiah base. I used the same recipe of green for my silk mohair that I have now named Avocado. I don't think I put that online yet, but I will put that online before this airs. So you can go check out the silk mohair Avocado and see what that looks like. This same color looks like on a white silk mohair compared to this moody yak base. It's actually pretty funny to see how much a color differ. And I also said, I also talked a little bit about the shine of the yarn, and let's see if I can show you what I talk about. So let's compare these two. This is my merino sock base. So they both have 20% nylon. My sock base, the Campbell Sock Yak base also has 15% yak and 20% nylon, and then 65% superwash merino. So it's the same amount of nylon. And this one is 80% merino, 20% nylon, and it is a high twist yarn. So it gives the yarn more of a surface for the dye compared to the 4-ply yarn, where the dye kind of has to hit 4 thin strands of yarn. And I think that is the reason why this looks more bright. Maybe I have other examples. Let me go find one of my single ply merinos, because that is the most shiny yarn, I think, without any silk in it. Look at these two. So this is the 100% superwash merino, and this is the merino nylon. And the nylon base, or the yak base, is just more, not as shiny. So the chorus doesn't pop as much. I can see I have a call. I'm just gonna take that because who knows if this might be, no, it's not. I can tell that's my bank manager, so he can wait. We don't need to talk bank business right now. But this is just to show you kind of how the capital sock yak base is not as shiny as a yarn that is just 1-ply yarn. Last thing, I'm wearing my yellow lichen on rocks today. I have that here at the studio. I have actually a lot of my knitwear here at the studio, but I put that on because I finally took out some time to do kits for this show. And I did a new kit in my Camping Sock Yak base. I changed the yellow. Before I had a colorway called Golden, but after I did the yellow hammer bird of, I think it's the bird of March or April. I don't remember which month it was. I am so in love with this yellow hammer colorway I did for the bird. So I decided to have that as a regular color in the future. So I wanted to put that in the kit instead of the golden that is not going to stay. And I have 2 skeins of njord. So it will be like this one. So I have made 3 kits in the shop, but I can make more. Because I have dyed more yarn, so if they sell out, I will just make more. I think that is all that I had to show you from down here. I did dye some silk mohair, but it's upstairs, and one is just njord and dark aubergine, which is just because I was sold out, and then the new one was this avocado color that didn't turn out the way that I planned. I wanted it to be more like sugar pine, but I guess I just have to order that dye that I need. So I will let you go for now. So thank you for sticking with me for another episode. Thank you for joining me at the office earlier, and for joining me here at the studio today. I will brew some coffee so my knitting friends will feel warm and welcome in just about 20 minutes from now. I will see you in another episode shortly. Take care. See you. Bye.